guys.
Hi.
Welcome back to our channel.
What was that?
I don't know. So some of you know what we're going to be talking about today because we posted about it on our Facebook.
What are we talking about?
Get out. I'm doing this alone. We are going to be talking about...
Oh, can I guess?
Sure. Take a wild guess.
Is it Waverly Hills Sanatorium?
Ding, ding, ding. Get out. So, we have chosen to do something a little paranormal for you tonight. It's night.
It is night.
It's late.
Even though I came over here at like 3 this afternoon to do
We've
this.
been busy though.
Have we though?
Kinda.
Or have we just been goofing off?
Both.
Okay.
We had a nice dinner.
We did.
They had chicken. I had jelly sandwiches.
She ate them with her fanjellies. Or fajellies.
Fajellies.
I can't say phalanges wrong correctly. Excuse me.
You can't say it wrong What? You can't say it wrong correctly?
I can't say it incorrectly correctly.
Get out.
So give us a little background, a little history on Waverly Hills.
I wrote down the preface. Just wanted to go through a little bit of history on the place. Just in case anybody doesn't know what Waverly Hills Sanatorium is. So, the land known today was originally purchased by Major Tom H. Hayes in 1883 as the Hayes family home. Since it was so far from the city and public schools, Hayes built a one-room school on the land for his daughters. Now, he hired Lizzie Harris as the teacher. I'm going to move this over here so it's a little easier.
Is it easier?
It's easier.
And are you all of a sudden from somewhere else?
All the time.
Okay.
Hope.
Hope.
Oh, we're gonna have to play that game on here sometime soon.
Oh, please, yes.
Okay. Lizzie had a love of the Waverly novels written by Walter Scott. So she named the school Waverly School. And Thomas found this name so peaceful that he named all of his land Waverly Hills. Or Hill. The hills came later. I don't know why they added an S. And they took the E out of Waverly at the end.
Right. I was about to ask you why there was another E in there.
Waverley is how it was spelled in
Like
1883 for the novels.
Okay.
And it was Hill, not Hills.
I mean,
I'm not really sure why they changed it. I never heard why they changed it.
Maybe more hills showed up.
Get out. In the early 1900s, Jefferson County, Kentucky, this was right here in Kentucky.
Just a couple hours away from where we're at right now.
They were stricken with an outbreak of tuberculosis. All of the wetlands along the Ohio River were perfect breeding grounds for the tuberculosis bacteria. So there were many cases in Louisville. Okay. So to try and contain the disease, a 2-story wooden sanatorium was opened for the early cases, and this building held 40 patients, which was not very much.
I mean, but at the time.
Well, yeah, it was early, so there weren't that many.
Probably like a quarter of the population of Louisville.
No, there just weren't that. Get out.
Is that like your favorite? That's a good movie. Have you seen that? Really annoying my sister today.
A little bit. All right. In 1911, the city of Louisville began preparations to build a new Louisville City Hospital. But the hospital commissioners decided there would be no admissions of pulmonary tuberculosis in this new hospital. They didn't want the disease touching their new hospital.
Look, this is a brand new hospital. Let's not infest it with diseases, okay?
Good job, Louisville.
That's not what hospitals are for.
Right? So the board of tuberculosis hospital was given $25,000 to build their own hospital for advanced tuberculosis cases. And I guess 25,000 is...
Well, yeah, that'd be like $1 million in today's money, wouldn't it? Are you sure? That was like 1800s. Oh, no, that was the 1900. No, it's 19. Okay.
Are you listening?
Yes.
Are you paying attention to what I'm saying? Are you retaining any of it? Just
very
like my
little.
Kids.
Your hair's pretty.
Please don't snip it. I gotta watch this one.
My apologies. Please proceed.
On August 31st of 1912, all tuberculosis patients from the city hospital were relocated to temporary quarters in tents on the grounds of Waverly Hills.
Okay, so, I mean, but fresh air was good for them, right?
I mean, they thought so, but they stayed there from August when they were moved.
Okay, so that's summer.
Until December of the same year.
I mean, so it was just getting good and cold. Nice,
good and cold.
Nice, fresh, crisp air. Good for the lungs.
Is it, though?
I mean, it could be. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I'm surprised that any of the patients were still alive to go into the new hospital.
Yeah. You have a point.
Anyways. Good job, Louisville.
Once again.
Instead of thanks, Obama, we're just going to go thanks, Louisville.
Okay. We can do that.
All right. The new hospital had capacity for another 40 patients. So now
80.
They can take in 80 patients.
Okay.
In 1914, they added a children's pavilion for sick children and children of sick parents.
Wait. Hold a second. Hold the phone.
How do you hold a second?
Like this.
But
you're going to put children that are not sick in a pavilion with children that are sick just because the children who are not sick have parents who are sick?
Yeah, because they had no one else to care for them. So where were they going to go?
I mean, grandparents.
Foster care?
Was that not a thing back then?
Sorry. I am too tired.
Me too.
We get really goofy when we're tired.
Can you tell?
You probably don't think we're funny at all, actually. But we think we are just the greatest thing ever.
Greatest thing since Betty White.
Yeah, she came before sliced bread. Did you know that?
Yeah. That's why I said it that way. Because now sliced thing, or sliced.
I think the psychopath is showing.
Sliced bread is the best thing since Betty White. Sliced thing.
Go to bed.
I will shortly.
So this children's pavilion added another 50 beds, bringing the full capacity to 130. The goal was to add a new building every year, so there may have been more beds that weren't reported at that time. In March of 1924, they began construction on a 5-story building with the capacity of 400 beds. Now, this 5-story building is what we now today call Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Right. And it is a very impressive structure.
It is. It's beautiful.
I, for one, would love to go there.
Like, they built it curved a certain way so the fresh air would blow directly into it. Because that was a big thing. They thought that fresh air, like they had
fresh air and sunshine.
Yeah, they had a fresh air room. They would like put them in bed, but it was all open,
like a solarium.
Yeah, so they would take in all the fresh air and sunshine, but still get to be in bed because they were sick. But they thought that would cure tuberculosis.
I mean, were they wrong though? I don't know.
Yes.
Do you know what cures tuberculosis?
Yeah, we're about to find out.
Oh, okay.
So this new building opened on October 17th of 1926. But in 1943, the introduction of streptomycin brought the number of tuberculosis patients down gradually. There was no longer a need for such a huge hospital, so the remaining patients were moved to Hazelwood Sanatorium in Louisville, and Waverly Hills, I don't know why I did that, closed its doors in June of 1961. But before we move on to what else went on with that building, they had a lot of other ways that they thought they could cure tuberculosis.
Boy, did they.
They inserted balloons into their lungs
and filled them with
air to expand the lungs because they thought that would help.
Yeah.
A lot of people died from them trying.
Right. But then the worst one, even more people died from.
They cut them open.
Yeah, they took part of the muscles and ribs from around the lung area.
Mm-hmm.
So that the lungs would have room to expand.
Yeah.
And very few people actually survived that procedure.
And they would also open them up and expose their lungs to a UV light.
Yes.
So they thought that the UV light would, I don't know.
Well, I guess it's the
contain
same effect
it.
as sunshine. In their eyes.
I mean, they opened them up and put it directly in their lungs, so really, that's not the same thing as just sitting in the sunshine. A lot of people died from this.
Well, yeah, you think?
Because they were literally just experimenting on these. These people were guinea pigs. Oh. Do you want to tell them about the body shoot?
The body shoot. So at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, they actually believed that the patient's mental health and emotional health was just as important as their physical health. So when somebody died from tuberculosis or the White Death, they didn't want to just parade the dead body past all of the other patients and be like, ta-da, somebody died.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would bring their spirit down.
Right. Like, that's one way to really depress everybody quickly. So instead, what they did was they built this amazing underground tunnel and called it the Body Chute.
This tunnel went straight down right to the railroad tracks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they basically just took the bodies from the hospital down the
tunnel.
Them. They just rolled them down the hill.
Like Sweeney Todd. They just...
That's a good movie.
That is a good movie. So they just threw them down the body chute, kind of like you would your dirty laundry to go in the basement. And
good analogy.
Thank you. And they wound up on a car on the train tracks and went straight to the morgue. Morgue?
Morgue.
Yeah. Is that where they went?
I don't know.
Maybe they just buried them. We don't know.
They might have burned them. You don't know. Contagious diseases.
Wouldn't they become airborne?
They didn't know that back then. They thought.
Should I go tell them?
Could you?
I'm gonna save a lot.
Get
more
a time
lives.
machine.
Bitch, I have a time machine.
Anyway, go ahead.
It's kind of hot in here.
It's very hot in here.
That's not where I was.
Not at all.
I don't know what happened.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
The trouble we've seen.
Okay. The building was reopened in 1962 as Woodhaven Geriatric Center. It was a nursing home primarily treating elderly patients with various stages of dementia and mobility limits, as well as severely mentally handicapped. Woodhaven failed greatly due to understaffing and overcrowding. They also had reports of patient neglect, which is another thing that we cover. So there you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, it's all tying in here tonight.
They were closed by the state of Kentucky in 1982.
So, 20 years. They were open for 20 years.
In 1983, the hospital was bought for $3,005,000.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Even in 1983.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of money today.
It was bought by J. Clifford Todd, and he wanted to convert the hospital into a minimum security prison.
Because, yeah, let's do that.
Anyways, he was met by protests from the neighbors. They didn't want it. They said no.
What? They didn't want prisoners living in their neighborhood?
Guess not. So then J. Clifford Todd proposed that he was going to turn the hospital into apartments. He went from a prison to apartments.
Well, you know, instead of the state paying for people to stay there, now the people have to pay for the people to stay there.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
But he counted on Jefferson Fiscal Court to buy around 140 acres from them for $400,000, giving them money to start the project. And obviously that never happened.
Gee, I wonder why.
So, no apartments.
No apartments.
In March of 1996, Robert Alberhaskey,
no,
he bought Waverly Hills and the surrounding area, and he made plans to construct the world's tallest statue of Jesus.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
At 150 foot tall and 150 foot wide, which, by the way, would have been a square.
You know that Jesus, he's as big around as he is tall. Says everyone in Louisville, Kentucky.
I mean, literally, he would have made a square if it's.
Oh me.
How is that?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Anyways, the statue would have sat on top of the sanatorium while converting the sanatorium itself into a chapel, a theater, and of course, a gift shop.
Because who wouldn't want to leave with their own little
square
glass...
Jesus?
I was going to say, you know the glass things that they look at stuff on in a microscope with some tuberculosis germs? What is that thing called? A slide.
Yeah,
why is that word not...
That's what they sold. The slide to tuberculosis bacteria and a square Jesus. So, the statue would have cost $4 million. Just the statue. The square Jesus. $4 million.
$4 million for square Jesus?
While the sanatorium conversion would have cost $8 million. And so, they went through a period of a year where they were trying to raise the money.
Okay, so we're
$12 million.
We're trying to raise $12 million to build Square Jesus.
And a gift shop.
Square Jesus.
Don't forget that gift shop.
So you can get your tuberculosis. But yeah, so Square Jesus, tuberculosis, got it.
Yeah.
12 million.
Yeah, but
Seems
after
reasonable.
a year, they only raised $3,000.
So what I'm getting out of this is that nobody in Louisville wanted Square Jesus and tuberculosis?
I don't think so. I should put my pen. No, they didn't.
Okay.
So it was canceled in December of 1997.
So it was a 1.5 year long dream.
They tried.
It was just crushed.
You know what? They tried.
They did try. And you know what? Square Jesus is very proud of them.
He is. Yeah. 2001, Tina and Charlie Mattingly. Have you heard of that name?
Yeah. I have.
Bought Waverly Hills. They held tours and hosted a haunted house attraction each Halloween, with all proceeds going toward the restoration of the hospital. They wanted to make it what it was in its prime. Today, Waverly Hills Sanatorium is owned by private investors. They don't want their name out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably have heard of it.
I probably have heard it. They just don't want me to hear it.
They open the historic building to curious overnight guests and ghost tours. And I want to spend the night there.
Me too. And actually, when...
Oh, my square Jesus.
When...
Let's talk about room 502.
Ooh, let's.
Do you have...
I have a couple of things on room 502.
502 in the house.
Yeah.
Look at your little notebook.
It's on
the
the 5th floor. floor.
Who would have fucking guessed?
So in 1928, a head nurse, who was obviously head nurse over room 502, was found dead from hanging herself from a light fixture in room 502.
I did not expect that. I didn't see it coming at all. Oh my square Jesus!
You thought I was going to say 503, didn't you?
I mean, wouldn't surprise me. So people think, actually, I've heard.
Yeah,
I'm in here.
It's the
No, I read a couple of different. One thing was I read that she was pregnant by one of the doctors who was married.
Right.
And he didn't want anything to do with the kid. He was not going to leave his wife. So,
of course,
she killed herself.
Because in 1928, what other option was there?
What was the other story about it?
It was 1932. It was another nurse from that floor.
Oh no, I meant what was the other story about? How she got pregnant?
Well, a man.
So
yeah, that's like the only story I ever heard about.
No,
her.
There was another one, but I can't remember.
29, unmarried.
There was another one I can't remember. Just move on. Okay.
So 1932, another nurse from the same floor jumped off of the roof patio and plunged several stories to her death.
Now, she jumped from room 502, right? Yes. So, another thing is Timmy.
Timmy.
Ice, Timmy. Timmy was a 6 or 7 year old boy who died at Waverly. And visitors will often bring him toys to play with, mainly a ball, and it always moves on its own.
I actually watched videos of that.
I did too.
Online.
On YouTube.
Yeah, because YouTube.
Yeah, I watched them too. And it was really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, you've got the skeptics that are like, oh, the floor's uneven, or the video's doctored.
There was wind blowing. But I believe.
I believe too. And I believe that your closed-mindedness hurts me.
Okay, now, I have to tell you this.
Okay, do tell.
Oh, I'm gonna tell. I've seen a young girl running around the 3rd floor.
I have that.
Okay, but hang on. Many have reported a woman with bloody wrists.
I have that too.
Calling out for help.
Mm-hmm.
The 5th floor, the unit for clinically insane, is reportedly the most haunted, especially room 502, where the 2 nurses committed suicide we just talked about. Many have reported the sounds of doors slamming and strange lights appearing. Others have heard voices in that room pleading for them to get out. It's true. It's right there.
They knew us?
Yeah. It's my ghost in the future. It went back to the past,
Sabrina,
and said to get out. We have a special guest. Not anymore.
Not anymore. So, yeah, the little girl, they said she runs up and down the solarium all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's her place.
The tunnel is the paranormal hotspot. Visitors have reported unexplained footsteps and disembodied voices because the tunnel was 450 foot.
It's a hell of a slide.
Right? They should put water in it.
I would so go down
that could be
except that it's concrete and it would probably hurt.
Well, no, but they could change it up and turn it into a water slide as an attraction.
Oh yeah, that could be the exit after you tour Waverly Hills. Just down the water slide.
Yeah.
Out you go. It just
it would still be called the death tunnel. Or the body chute.
The body chute water slide.
Yeah.
It has a ring to it.
I know, I'm smart.
Well.
Some people even have seen hearses.
That's what I was about to ask you. Did you read where it said that there's a hearse that pulls up to the back of the building and delivers coffins?
I just said that.
Yeah. So the 4th floor. Oh wait, you didn't talk about the man in the white coat in the kitchen. Of course, slamming doors, lights in the windows, strange sounds.
Tell me a bedtime story.
Eerie footsteps in the empty rooms. There's supposed to be a man in a white coat that walks around the kitchen.
That's not scary.
Here's the freaky part. People smell food cooking, including bread baking. I don't know.
What was that?
I had to make it sound scary.
That's not scary. I mean, you see a man in white in the kitchen and he cooks food. Like, that's not scary.
Sounds like a fat kid's dream to me.
I mean, can you eat the food?
Probably not.
That's the scary part.
That's where it gets
You can
scary.
smell it, but you can't eat it.
Now, see, the 4th floor is also supposed to be really haunted. Like, doors slamming.
All the floors are haunted.
Well, no. Not all of them.
I'm pretty sure.
There's that one floor nobody ever walked on. Just this one square of floor.
Get out. Get out!
But the human shadows.
Oh, yeah. I did read about the shadow people.
The shadow people are usually on the 4th floor, from all accounts.
But if you hit them with a light, they disappear.
They do.
Shadows.
But there's one that follows you around and peeks around corners at you like it's spying on you. And somebody actually got a picture of that shadow. And it's said to look like, I think they said it was one of the patients that used to live there named Mary.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And it's supposed to look just like her. Like, so is she still there? Is she still coughing her lungs out? Okay. There are also stories of an elderly woman who walks around with her hands and feet chained. And her hands and feet are bleeding.
From the chains?
I don't know. And she's moaning. She's always moaning.
Like, passionately?
I would think not. I'm going to guess, like, miserably. But here's my question. Is that from the tuberculosis hospital
I would
or
think
the
that
geriatric?
Would be the geriatric hospital.
See, that's what I'm thinking. But did they chain them up?
Maybe. I mean, they got shut down for cruelty.
For square Jesus' sake.
I know.
And then there are stories about the creeper. Now, I know you had to have read about the creeper.
Probably. I just don't remember.
He's, he, she, it. It's a figure that crawls along the floor and the walls and the ceilings. And anytime you spot it or it's near, it's supposed to fill you with a sense of dread or doom. And I guess it's like the guardian of Waverly Hills.
What if you're already filled with dread and doom because that's how your life is?
Well, then maybe the creeper is just in your life forever.
Oh, cool.
There have also been reported sightings of doppelgangers, which is a German word for double walker.
I know what a doppelganger is.
Well, I didn't know if everybody did. Jeez.
Good point.
So judgy.
Proceed.
You're so judgy.
I know.
But yeah, people have seen themselves in there, and they've seen like.
Was it a mirror?
No, it was a doppelganger.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And then
the window.
And then,
the reflection.
Yeah. Mary Lee, that's the one that they got the picture of. She was either. Now I know this is a little hard to believe, but I couldn't find actual figures on this. She was either a young patient, the nurse who hanged herself, or the daughter of a doctor who caught tuberculosis and died.
I read that.
But nobody's for certain.
Yeah, nobody knows who she was.
But she's the one that peeks around the corners, spies on you, plays peekaboo. Now, all right, the to kind of figure out how many deaths there were, and, you know, I came across so many different numbers. Like, we went from 4,000 to 6,000 to 5,000, all the way up to 63,000.
Yeah, the 63,000 is like how many people were there all together.
Right, that's just ridiculous.
Since the hospital opened.
Exactly. But there are supposed to be 4,000 death certificates on file from Waverly Hills.
That is all we know.
Which really isn't much in the grand scheme of things.
No, I mean, that's all I could find on all of the sites.
But there's
I just
so
want to go.
much. I want to go too. Guys, this has been all over the place tonight. We had good intentions.
We really did, but we're too tired to be serious.
But we knew we had to put something out for our huge number of followers, which thank you guys.
All Baker's dozen of them.
Right?
Well, I think we're going to go ahead and end the video.
Okay, and if you guys have hung in with us this long, thank you. And we are so sorry.
Yeah, we'll do better next week. And we are going to get more consistent with videos. I know this one was all over the place. Mm-hmm. But we had the family day.
We did.
So we decided not to film that day because I had to go to work that night. And we stayed out.
And it's,
until right before.
Right. And January's been a long year.
It has. Such a long year. But yeah, we're going to get more.
Yeah. We're going to get this. I promise.
We will get it to where there will be a day that you will know every week, one certain day, that you know our video is coming out, so you can look forward to it.
Those crazy sister bitches have a video coming out today.
Woo woo. Yeah. So, subscribe below. Click the little bell.
Share.
Yes.
Share.
Share with all of your friends. They'll love us too. I promise.
And if you really just want to annoy somebody you don't like, share us with them too.
I mean, if that's how you want to use us. Just don't tell me. It's kind of insulting. Throwing shade over there.
At least I threw it in your face.
Throwing shade. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys. Bye.